the royal
We do
public.
nothing wrong. I mean, we're just perfectly reacting to it. Everyone else is wrong.
Obviously. That's the point of this podcast, is that we are right and people should listen to us. There's your clip, business boys. There's your show promo clip.
Hello and welcome to HR Confessions. I'm Rebecca Taylor.
And I'm Kim Rohrer. We are bringing you unfiltered perspectives from the world of HR, real stories, and hopefully some good advice.
Hopefully some good advice. If not,
You never know.
then at least a reflection.
That's right. We're only human.
I know. So I know it's kind of hard to top like the shock value of last week. Not that we're looking to top anything, but I do have to say that this story that I have for you today is still pretty unhinged.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to oversell it, but like when I say that this person became their HR person, I mean, they like literally stole her identity and became her.
Oh no. Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
So,
no. Okay.
how are you feeling? What are you thinking?
Oh, I am ready for this.
Yeah.
It's been a week, it's been a month, it's been a year. I'm ready for some levity. Please distract my brain for 30 minutes with an unhinged HR story.
That's the goal here. I'm happy to do that for you.
That's all we're doing.
So our story today begins in a mid-sized marketing firm in a southwestern city. So think like office parks, shared parking lots, and like very enthusiastic 1099s. So like lots of freelance folks and, you know,
Yep.
people that like work here, but also kind of work in a lot of different places. So like the culture's different, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
So our HR hero, we're going to call her Laura. She was the sole HR manager for this 120-ish person team.
Great.
So Laura
I already hate this for her.
Yeah. And it's like of this 120, like that also includes like freelancers and stuff too. So it's not all full-time
Sure.
people, but it's still like 120 people is still a pretty big like remit for one HR person.
One person. Yeah.
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 So Laura was meticulous. She wasn't like warm and fuzzy HR. She was policies, payroll, like probably because so much of her job had to do with onboarding
Yeah.
and offboarding consultants. Like, you know, she always had FSA forms in one hand, EAP brochures in the other. She was like the type who color coded her folders and had backups for her backups. Like,
Yep.
I'm like, now that I think about this, I'm just like, Laura, are you okay? What stressed you
Bless
out that made you
people.
have to do all that?
I love an organized operational HR person. They are
Yeah.
the peanut butter to my jelly. I can't live without them. I love you so much, people like Laura.
Yeah, same. She reminds me so much of my first HR boss, actually. Like when she was describing herself, I was just like, you sound so much like Maria. Like, and I mean that affectionately and lovingly.
Yes. We all have to balance each other out.
Yeah, we all have
love
different
it.
strengths. And like this is why having a team is important, because like it can be well-rounded where different people have
Yeah.
different strengths instead of just one person that has to do everything.
Right.
But that
Exactly.
could probably be its own episode.
But poor Laura, she is a
Yeah.
solo operational HR person.
Yeah. So one
Okay.
day she gets a strange email. So it's like something that it's like, bing, this doesn't really look right. It's a notice from their payroll provider about a change to her direct deposit info. So as the
Okay.
admin for the platform, she knew she hadn't changed anything. So her heart skips a beat. She double checks. Like she's like, is this phishing? Is this like legit? Like what's going on here? So she logs in. She pulls up her own profile, like her actual banking information. She didn't click any link in the email. She like
Yep.
went to the side, pulled it up.
Smart.
Her own profile has a new routing number and a new bank account, but she's never touched it. So she immediately calls the payroll provider.
Yeah.
They confirm, yes, the update came from someone logging in with her credentials. Like they're like, yeah, it looks like you
You've been
logged
hacked.
in and you did this. Except she knows she didn't do it. So she's like, what the frick
Right.
is happening here?
Oh.
So what are some of the immediate red flags that you're seeing?
I mean,
as a person and as an HR person.
Yeah.
Because like my mind goes in two different.
As a person individually, it's like, I've been hacked. Someone knows my password. Now do I need to go across all of my systems everywhere and like check everything? If this person has my login information to the payroll system, do they have, so just individually, do they now have all of my personally identifying information, my social security number, my address, my all the stuff they can see if they log in? Secondarily, I'm thinking as an HR person in this situation of, do they have my personal login or do they have an admin login? I don't know if those things, sometimes those things are different. Like sometimes you can log in as the HR admin, but you can also log in as an individual user. I hate when that happens. I want the system to have one login and know my different permissions, but they can't all do that. So did this person log in as an individual user, as me? If so, is the potential damage mitigated, or did they log in as an admin and they potentially have access to the entire company's identifying information? I want to make sure I knew that. This is interesting timing. There's no way you could have known this, but I've started getting what I feel like are phishing emails from a couple different places that are like, here's your 6-digit LinkedIn code. Use it to log in to access your account. And then I immediately freak out and I'm like, oh my God, like, am I getting locked out of my account or something? But I don't know how phishing really works. I don't know how it works, but like, I'm just not going to click on anything in this email. I'm just going to go see if I can still log into LinkedIn. Great. I can still log in. I'm going to ignore these emails. But that's telling me like, is somebody trying to log into my account? Is somebody trying to log in? And it was LinkedIn. It was something else recently where I got an email. I forget what it was. I was like, I didn't request a 6-digit backup password. Is someone trying to hack into my stuff? Do I need to go change
There's
all
a
my
lot of
passwords?
hacking going around.
I don't understand how any of it works. And so I either just get freaked out and do nothing, or I get freaked out and I like change one password and then decide I have nothing worth hacking anyway.
Yeah.
What are we going to get?
And that's the thing is like,
but I've
this
heard of
to me
people
sounds like
getting
an
locked
HR.
out of like getting locked out of their LinkedIn accounts, and LinkedIn takes a really long time to let them get back in. And it's like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
But so like as an HR person, I'm thinking of myself and that whole train of thought and like, what else did whoever this hacker is hack into? And as an HR person, I'm like, well, if they have, I am HR, I have the keys to the entire castle. If they have my login, do they have everything? And that's real scary.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my thought too. Is I'm just like, there's first the whole, like my reaction for me where it's just like, oh my God, someone stole my information and now they're messing with my pay. They're messing with my bank account. But then also, are they making changes for everybody else? Am I the only person who's impacted? Right. Who is this? Like what, where did this come from?
Is this an employee? Is this someone outside of our, like, is this totally random, or is this a targeted attack from an employee?
Is this the only system that they've hacked? Is this the only thing that we know about? Like, what do we not know? It's sort of this,
and
like
this
my whole
friends,
thing
is why you need a crisis response procedure and protocol. Like,
yes. And you also need, friends in IT.
Back to last week's episode.
Yeah, for real.
This is why crisis communications are important.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need friends in IT.
Friends in IT. Sure. Yeah, because this is what Laura did. So the payroll people tell her, like, this was legitimately you. So if it wasn't legitimately you, then, you got to figure out who it could have been. So she launches a full internal audit. So she works with her IT team. They trace the IP address that logged in under her credentials. And it came from inside the building.
Oh, boy.
So whoever it was that logged in worked there. Yeah.
So it's not a big enough firm that like somebody some random hacker is going to try to get into this random marketing company's payroll system. Like
it's 120 people. So like it's
an inside job.
Yeah. So it is.
Sure.
Yeah, it's an inside job. And so like a bad horror movie, Laura pulls up the employee activity logs and she sees multiple logins to the HR portal from the same company laptop. And this laptop is assigned to a guy named Marcus.
Marcus does not cover his tracks.
Marcus. Let's talk about Marcus.
Okay, Marcus.
Marcus is a mid-level account manager. He'd been with the company about 10 months, so still basically like brand new as far as I'm concerned. A little flashy, very charming, frequently late to meetings, but always with a good excuse. Mm-hmm. And he was like one of those guys who made you feel like you were interrupting his vacation when you asked him to do his job.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Turns out, Marcus wasn't just lazy. He was busy because while Laura was investigating the payroll situation, IT was pulling a phone usage report at the request of a VP who noticed weird data charges because they had company provided phones. Mm-hmm. So the VP is like, this looks a little bit weird. Can you just like check this out? And this is when it all really unraveled.
Yep.
So what happened was Marcus had somehow gotten access to Laura's login information to her payroll platform. And so we later found out that she, so I was like, I asked her, I was like, how could this have possibly happened? Like, just what were some things that could have caused this? I was like, you know, we've all done it. Did you have your name and password written on a Post-it? Like, just something as simple as that.
Right.
So I later found out that she once helped him reset his password to log in to his own portal. And so when he watched her type hers, like he watched her type hers in when she logged into her admin panel to help him reset it.
Sneaky.
Like, isn't that,
you know,
like
what's
that?
You know what's bizarre about that to me though, Rebecca, is that he was sneaky enough to maneuver this way of like finding out her password, but not sneaky enough to cover his tracks literally at all.
Yeah, like had
multiple logons from a company issued device on the company network, and like that's just dumb.
Yep.
Come on.
Yep. And it gets worse. Like,
oh no,
it gets worse because like this guy, the way that I sort of picture Marcus, the way that Laura described him is like, he's flashy. He's overly confident. Like this is someone who's probably never really has never been held accountable for anything.
Yeah.
And is used to getting away with stuff. And since he's only been in this company for so long,
suits with like a nice suit jacket with like a fancy t-shirt and like reflective glasses. That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's only been at this company for so long. So, like, we don't know why he exited his last company. We don't know what he's, I don't know, how long he's been at other companies before this, right? So, like, yeah. So, like, he's still relatively new. So, he could be capable of anything. And so, like, just the fact, this is kind of the part that, like, baffles my mind, though, is that what he did with the power that he had, he took her payroll information, and he redirected a portion of Laura's pay into his account.
Yes.
So he literally stole from her. Yeah. He literally stole from her. So what are your thoughts here? An employee is stealing from you, not just your password and not just your login, but actually directing a portion of your pay to themselves. How are you feeling? What are you thinking?
That is a fireable offense. That is gross misconduct, and that is a fireable offense. You are out of there, Marcus.
Mm-hmm. Is it anything else? Like, because I think it's not just fireable. It's like,
it's illegal. Yeah, you can press. It's true. I don't know if it's on the level of like, is it a misdemeanor? Is it a felony? Are we talking like? I'm not a lawyer. I don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could certainly press charges against him.
It's not great.
You could get law enforcement involved. Absolutely. I don't like to get law enforcement involved if I don't have to. But I also would launch a formal investigation. I would immediately put him on unpaid leave and launch a formal investigation because we want to know what's the extent of the damage. Has he done this to other employees? Has he done this to other companies? Like, I would be doing a full investigation with a background check, and I would monitor the logs for the entire payroll system and make sure he hasn't been adding bank accounts to other people's accounts. Like, full investigation, but immediate unpaid leave and confiscation of all devices.
The background check part is interesting because I asked if they did a background check before they hired him, and they said yes, they did, and it came back clean. But we'll get a little bit further in, and we'll see what that could be about. Yeah. So they are doing this audit. So they decide that they are doing an audit, they are doing the investigation. And then they figure out what's going on with the company phone. So this company phone issue.
Oh, with his data charges.
So the IT team discovered that Marcus had been using his work phone to arrange, let's say, pharmaceutical transactions. So they find text messages, Venmo notes, location drops, the works. Like not even bothering to use code words on his company phone. And one message actually read, front desk again, HR is nosy. Like, it's like, so I'm sorry, HR is nosy because you're doing weird things at work? What?
Because you're doing drug deals in your office? Is he... So I'm assuming HR is not at the front desk. I'm assuming front desk is reception. Yeah. And does this mean that he's doing drug deals with fellow employees and coworkers, or is he meeting strangers off the street? Potentially. Because I feel like meeting a stranger off the street at the reception desk to do a drug deal is kind of shady. Maybe it's that like someone's going to come to reception and give his name, and reception will call him, and then he'll go meet them outside or something. And I'm trying to figure out the HR is nosy part of this. Like, is HR just paying attention to all the comings and goings of every employee? If so, like, that's kind of weird.
And if they were, wouldn't they have noticed something weird before this? Like,
you would think
I asked
so.
Laura, I was like, what do you think that means HR is nosy? And she's like, I legitimately have no idea. She's like, there seemed to be some sort of narrative in his head about whatever was happening or not happening that it just led to just a lot of really poor judgment when doing illegal things.
The drug dealer using company devices to arrange his drug deals is paranoid. Everyone is shocked. Shocking times. Okay. And siphoning off other people's payroll into his account.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's paranoid.
And like is like paranoid, but is also paranoid about like HR being nosy. It's just like,
but
maybe
is
that's
also doing a very bad job covering his tracks. Like, very bad.
Yes.
Very bad.
So bad. So
Get
bad.
a burner phone, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Haven't you seen The Wire?
So maybe he thought that that like the work phone was a burner phone. Does maybe he's just like, oh, this isn't me. This is just.
Yeah, because
it doesn't seem like he's a very enterprising. Yeah,
like,
he's not
I
an
feel like
enterprising dealer.
What's the opposite of a burner phone? Like, what is a heavily tracked phone? A water phone.
Yeah. So then we get to the confrontation. So Laura gets all this information. She's just like, oh my God, like I can't like even believe that this is what I'm looking at right now. So once all the puzzle pieces clicked, the company set up a meeting. So you have legal, you have IT, you have Laura in a conference room. Marcus is called in. He walks in like it's a performance review. Like he's like, hey, what's going on?
Why is Laura legal and IT here for my performance review?
Yeah, why is the lawyer here? I don't know.
Because I'm so good.
And so Laura,
yes, okay.
So Laura deadpan goes, Marcus, do you know why you're here? And Marcus goes, I assume this is about my promotion? And Laura's like, no.
Oh, Marcus.
She then pulls out a printed copy of her payroll transaction records, showing clearly that they came from the computer with Marcus's IP address. So lay out the proof. She shows him the screenshot of the Venmo note, and then she reads him the message about HR being nosy. Marcus smirks and he says, that could have been anyone. And like, here's the thing, it couldn't. Because like all of it, like the phone, the computer, the login, it's all traced back to his company issued devices.
Well, so, like, did you give your company issued devices to someone else? Does someone else have all your company issued devices?
That's a great question. But considering they were able to confiscate the phone, then probably not. Seems like it was in his possession.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, it's just, you ever just meet someone who or work with someone who just has like the audacity, just this like, this absolute audacity, like completely gaslighting, right? Like completely saying, hey, what you're seeing isn't true. What you're looking at isn't truth. And, you know, like you have to prove this to me or your proof doesn't mean anything. So Laura's like, I'm not playing this game. We have enough evidence. He was fired on the spot and security walked him out because security was like, like, no. So, you know, at this point, so we're going to get to, I have a little bit of I mean, that was like basically the whole gist of the story was that this guy was like absolutely the audacity to just pretend that he was doing absolutely nothing wrong, stole Laura's identity, used company devices for drug deals, and then ended up getting fired and like still didn't really understand why or didn't believe why he should have been fired. So as you're hearing this, like, do you have any advice for HR pros who might be in, when I say a similar situation, I mean a similar situation to just having an employee who just has no regard for anything? Like, what do you have as advice for people in that position?
I mean, when you're dealing with someone who has, I can't diagnose officially, but I consider this like part of the narcissistic complex tendencies of like, I believe in myself so much and love myself so much that I truly believe in what I am gaslighting you, right? Like you have people who you can show them that they've missed their sales numbers every quarter and they'll be like, no, I didn't. You must be missing something. Like I've seen that before. I think this is a good case for leadership development, leadership training in not just conflict resolution, which we tend to see pretty standard, but like complex conflict resolution. So things where like, I think in this situation, there's like psychological components to it, right? Because you're not dealing with someone who is trafficking in reality. It's kind of like arguing with a toddler. Like, you can't logic them into seeing your side. So as an HR leader, you have to know what the boundaries are And like, I like when Laura, I don't know, I doubt she said it out loud, but she's like, I'm not playing this game, you're done. Like, you need to know as an HR leader when you need to stop trying to convince someone to believe you. Because if you are not operating in the same spectrum of reality, you're not going to convince them, and you're going to waste a lot of time and a lot of breath trying to convince them to do something or admit to something or understand something that they're just never going to. So that's why it's important to know. I always say with HR, like, you have to know what the rules are so you know where you can bend or break rules. This is where you have to know, like, okay, I'm not going to convince this guy that the truth I'm putting in front of him is true because he doesn't want to believe that it's true. So he's going to say whatever he can to get out of this. So I just need to like hold the line and and I don't know about you, but I like to be right. I do.
I love being right.
I love being right.
Happens a lot. And it's just saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm just often right. I mean, that was like the tagline of this whole podcast, right? Like, we are right, and people should listen to us.
You should listen to us.
But hard as it is for me to admit, I am not always right. And even when I know I'm right, I have to recognize when I'm never going to convince the other person of my rightness, if that makes sense. Like, I get into this argument with my husband all the time. I'm like, I know I'm right, but I also know that you think you're right. And is it more important for us to move on to the next thing, whether that's firing an employee or getting someone to do the action you need them to do, or like whatever it is, or is it more important for them to know that I'm right? Yeah. And in cases like Marcus, when it's like a legal cut and dry, like they have enough evidence to fire him and likely prosecute him, or at least take it to trial. Like, it doesn't matter if Marcus knows that you're right. You just have to do it. Yeah. And like, it would have been very validating if she showed him the paperwork and was like, see, I gotcha. And he was like, oh no, if it weren't for you meddling
my plans
kids.
are foiled.
Yeah. Like, but that's not going to happen. And with someone who is like so self-righteous in their deceit, and someone who like, it's like the George Costanza line, it's not a lie if you believe it's true. Like, there are people who like, they believe so hard what they're trying to do that like, you're never going to win against them. You're never going to get them to believe you. You're never going to get them to admit the thing you want them to admit. So you might just have to be right in your own heart and then get on with the task at hand.
Yeah. And I think it's also just like a representation of a time when the term assume best intentions is so harmful. Because like, I hate that expression, to be honest, because like not everybody does have the best intentions, and you have to just like, at best, just assume people mean what they say. Like, just start there.
You can only assume best intentions if you have a pre-established foundation of trust. If you have a pre-established relationship and foundation of trust, then you can assume that the person you're working with has best intentions. But if it's a stranger, if it's an employee, if it's someone who's stealing money from your bank account, do not assume their intentions are good.
Yeah. Just assume that it's probably worse than you've found, because like my thought, maybe this is my paranoia.
I'm really glad I did not take a sip of my coffee before you said that. I would have had a very wet microphone.
Here's the thing that I'm thinking about, like, and I don't know about you, but I find myself talking like ChatGPT all the time now too. I'm always like, here's the thing, but here's the thing. If this is what we found out that Marcus did, and Marcus was so nonchalant and so just like, okay, whatever, then, and this was something that he wasn't even covering his tracks on, could there have been something worse that we didn't catch, that he was like, I'm just glad he didn't notice that person that I killed or in the bathroom or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, you know, hopefully not. From my understanding, like, no deaths were caused as a result of this story.
Glad you didn't notice my dog videos on my phone, you know?
Right. Oh, God. Yeah. Like, yeah. Maybe Marcus was the husband from last week. I mean, who knows? But it's like, you know, it's like when someone just has this absolute, because I've been in these situations before too. So like I used to work at a retail company, and so I dealt with like employees that were dealing with the general public, and it was a sort of a high end luxury business. So there was a lot of expensive merchandise, like all this kind of stuff. And there were cosmetics, and cosmetics were the thing that were most often stolen because they're small. Like you can steal expensive lipsticks and, you know, whatever that is.
Tell me more, Rebecca. How can I steal expensive lipstick? works.
The thing is, they will let you steal a lot of it, and then they will fire you when you will be so fired. They won't catch you. Literally, will be like, oh, so and so's been stealing. We're just gonna like gather enough evidence. We're gonna let them keep doing it, and then we're gonna go and fire them.
Oh my god.
So that was a lot of the kind of stuff that I had to deal with, is like people who like were confident because they think that they're not getting caught. So what's so funny is that eventually you see them get more and more comfortable. And so then they started to steal more boldly, steal more out loud, and like just bring other people into it. So it becomes like a bigger thing.
What did Marcus do before he started getting so careless about his tracking?
Well, this I don't know, but what I do know is that the way that this story ends is that Laura filed a police report for identity theft, and the company considered pressing charges. So that filing a police report for identity theft was apparently not that big of a deal compared to because she didn't file anything for stealing. It was just for identity theft. Okay. And the company considered pressing charges, but opted not to in exchange for full restitution. So Marcus paid back what he'd stolen. With what money? I don't know. Maybe his drug deal money. And he just disappeared into the night. And so and now he apparently works for an events company. So doing something completely different, but in the event space. And what is so funny is so they dismissed him. They didn't press any charges, so there's nothing that would show up on a background check for him. So that's why he's passing his background checks with flying colors, because he somehow knows how to weasel his way out of these things.
He knows how to get into just enough trouble, but skirt that line and stay under the radar. Oh, Marcus,
just enough trouble. Fuck. Yeah, and so this is like the thing with you don't want to assume all your employees are constantly doing nefarious things, right? Like for the most part, this is a case where it's like you want to assume at least non-harmful intentions in most people.
Right.
But it is there had to have been a lot of things that happened before there were a lot of things that he tested that he could get away with before he ended up stealing money from his HR person. So it's sort of, so I see this also as poor Laura had so much on her plate that was just transactional paperwork that she couldn't really see anything outside of just the pile of work on her desk or the pile of paperwork on her desk. And who knows, how the other team members, how other people who work there was, but this is kind of one of those things that is also a danger of a company that's too understaffed.
I was going to say, underinvesting in HR. Your one HR person is so buried in keeping up with the day-to-day that they're not keeping a pulse on the organization. They're not doing HR business partner work with managers and leaders across the company.
Building trust.
Trust. They're not having conversations about performance maybe outside of an annual cycle or something. They're not the eyes and ears of the organization, as people always like to say, HR is the eyes and ears of the organization. You can't be eyes and ears if you're surrounded by piles of paperwork all day long.
Yep, exactly. And you're just constantly in this sort of reactive, just transactional processing type work all the time. And so it makes me wonder.
She got her money back.
Yeah, I'm glad she got her money back too. I'm thank God. But it kind of also shows to me that there's, every organization is always kind of looking at HR, not every, but most organizations look at HR as a cost center, and they're kind of just there to keep the lights on or whatever, which I very much do not agree with. I know a lot of companies that don't agree with that, but that still is a lot of the narrative. And what this kind of also shows is the risk that a company is exposed to by under-resourcing that team and that department. And, because I'm sure Marcus was messing with other people before he messed with HR, or other people at the company knew that Marcus was up to something and they were either part of it or benefiting from it. And HR wouldn't have known. No one would have known because she's buried in paperwork. And so it's everything, whenever you have sort of an HR person not focusing on actually the human part of the job, that's when the company is so exposed to risk. And it's why I can't say enough that, HR teams need to have the right resources and staff so that they're able to actually perform their job and not just file paperwork all day.
Louder for the people in back.
And I think that's my big takeaway is just if Laura had help and if Laura wasn't just the only HR person constantly monitoring contractors, maybe she would have seen something before this happened.
This is your PSA. Send this episode of HR Confessions to your CEO when you are struggling to gain headcount for your team. Say, I don't want to be
main
Laura.
takeaways.
I don't want to be Laura.
Yeah.
Listen to this podcast. You don't want me to be Laura. What if someone's stealing from us and we don't know? What if
Your
someone's
company
doing
doesn't
drug
want to be this
deals?
company?
What if someone is doing drug deals at our reception desk, but we're too busy to notice? We don't want that.
What if they're using our company regulated devices for their personal use, such as coordinating drop-offs?
Right?
Yeah.
Let this be a lesson to you. This is our PSA.
Yeah. And I think some of my other takeaways for this that I'll say to anybody on here is definitely take some, make sure that your organization is offering some kind of password security training. Learn what phishing is. Kim Rohrer, if you would like to benefit from some of Skill Cycle's internal training on phishing, we've got some good modules you can watch.
Oh my God.
Explain exactly what it is. There's quizzes and everything.
Oh my God. You know what's funny is I've been through these trainings many times before, but then whenever it happens to me, I'm like, is this phishing? It seems real. It's from
I just assume everything is phishing.
Yeah, I do too. And then I'm like, delete. Nothing bad has happened yet. Delete.
Yeah, there's that's the thing. It's just like keeping ourselves informed and educated on basic technical literacy is important. Don't reuse passwords. Don't let anybody watch you type it. Log in.
Yeah,
I'll also say
don't let anyone watch you type.
Yeah, I'll also say though that I think the just based on the timing of, I actually don't have a time frame from when this happened. I didn't ask because it wasn't entirely relevant, but. I know that it happened kind of like a while-ish ago. So it was probably before something like two-factor authentication existed when we could steal each other's passwords. So now payroll platforms, they have two-factor. So if you don't have that enabled, you should.
Yeah. I don't have a payroll platform at the moment, but I feel like everything is run, so much is run through single sign-on with G Suite that if someone figured out your Google password, you'd be fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. It's definitely true. Change your passwords early and often and remember them, but not so much that anybody else can know them.
It's so annoying to change your passwords though. Ugh, who wants to do that?
Yeah. And another takeaway, just to kind of have to keep on belaboring the point of the background check is background checks are only as valid and helpful as someone's record will allow it to be. So there's a lot of validity in doing background checks, obviously. But know that they don't always tell you the full story. So sometimes, if you are in a position where you do have more secure hiring practices, this is an instance where I'd advocate for considering doing references. If even then, and make them specific
they're not going to
references.
They're not going to give a reference suggestion for someone who's going to rat them out. That's the problem.
So I say
they're going to choose their favorite person from their last company, not the person that fired them for stealing company funds.
Yeah, well, that's why I say consider, because sometimes you'll get someone who it's their former manager, and they actually were their former manager, and I don't know about you, but I can immediately tell when someone's lying in a reference check or when they're not.
Oh yeah,
when they're kind of giving just very generic and guarded answers. So I like to ask questions that surprise people. So I can catch them off guard. But it's just about the spidey sense. It's just about something doesn't seem right. What is it that's going on here? Let me just make sure that I get to the facts. And at the end of the day, there might just be a case that someone sneaks through. It's going to happen. But if you have the right eyes and ears in the organization, then you're less likely to see something like this happen to your HR person or any of your other employees. So,
Yep.
So that's what I got for this week's episode of HR Confessions.
Oh my gosh. Was not expecting this.
I've got...
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Identity theft is one of those that, I'm just that one hits hard because it's you have so much power in HR. You do not want anybody stealing any of your login information.
No. And then it's so annoying, from the personal perspective. Then it's now I have to go in and check the security on my bank account and check what else do they have? Did they give this information to other people? I have to change all my logins. So irritating.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I feel bad for Laura. She had to deal with
poor Laura. Yeah.
Annoying HR stuff that also has personal implications,
Yes. Yeah. And, if you're hearing stories like this and you're just oh, that reminds me of something that happened at my company, I would love for you to share your story with us. So whether you are our HR hero the unlucky victim of something, or if you're the innocent bystander that watched everything go down, like send us your confession. You can use the link in the show notes. You can send me a DM on LinkedIn, or you can email us at hrconfessions@skillcycle.com. So you don't have to be in HR. You can be just someone who worked at a company and saw something happen. Your stories are completely anonymous, as you can tell. And I love hearing them from you. I've got some good ones like queued up for the next few episodes too.
Oh boy.
But I'm always looking for more.
Can't wait. Amazing.
So
Thank you so much for this juicy story.
Remember to log out when you leave your desk.
Oh my God. Yes. Log out when you leave your desk.